pretty much designed by Michelle and Tom Del Beccaro. We're having an Asian town hall. This is part 2. This was started off in Los Angeles. We had over 40 locally elected Republican Asian officials. In fact, nobody knew that we had 40 locally elected Asian officials who actually were registered Republicans in the Los Angeles, Orange County area. And it was really nice having all these folks meet each other and talk to each other. And you know, one mayor of Alhambra talking to the mayor of San Dimas and saying, "Gosh, I've seen you at all these government meetings, and I never knew that you're Republican." So that's just one of the side benefits. Part of the burning desire for the California Republican Party is to radically change our demographics. One of the largest and fastest voting populations in California are Asian Americans. Now they constitute 10% of the total vote in California. That's a big deal. It's finally taken notice. People are beginning to realize that this Asian phenomenon is a seriously fast-growing population. We've got some more stats for you. But I wanted to welcome you on behalf of the California Republican Party. We have a town hall where we want people here to talk to the party officials so that party can listen to you. So we've got very prominent people like Bob Huff, the Senate Republican leader. That's a big deal. And Ed Royce, who's one of the top Republican congressmen. And of course, Connie Conway, who's a fabulous woman leader of the California Republican Party. So we're in very good shape. And many more. Kurt Hagen, everybody knows Kurt Hagen, one of our Assembly Firebrand leaders. They're here to listen to what Asian Americans who somehow got elected to a local office think of the California Party, what we can do, what the party can do to change and transform itself to become a majority party in California. I've really enjoyed talking with you folks. I like the concept of the town hall. I think it's kind of scary, you know, being in the middle. So because it's kind of scary to me, I'm going to hand it over to my wife. California's highest elected Republican official happens to be my wife. Board of Equalization, 9 million constituents, a constitutional officer, 1,000 employees, multiple offices from the Mexican border, the Arizona border, the Nevada border to the Pacific Ocean. My lovely wife, Michelle Park Steele.
Thank you very much, Sean. We, as an Asian American, we are actually never proactive, and this time that we really think that we have to be proactive. So last year that we got together, about 45 elected officers, and it was a very good turnout. And then we recognized, we identified them that they are Republicans. So that was a really good start. And let me introduce a couple of volunteers who's been working very hard trying to put this together. My staff, Ari, Dana, right there. He's been working for the last week until midnight, try to bring everybody in, try to organize it. And then actually we are taking over AARC, so we changed the bylaw, trying to have meetings in here at CRP convention. So Adam Abramson has been working on it, and we're going to be chartered soon. Thank you, Adam. I'm going to give these elected people just for 2 minutes each. We're going to make it very clear, 2 minutes each, Ed and Bob and everybody, because we don't have much time, because we want to hear from these locally elected officers and hear that CRP, the people that they are the one going to hear today. But I really want to appreciate Tom, who always, give us that chance to set up this kind of meeting since last year. He's not just doing Asian Americans, but he's doing Hispanic community, and he tried to embrace all other minority groups, and I really appreciate that. Tom, 2 minutes.
She's tough. I want to welcome everyone, of course, Mei, good to see you. I want to welcome everybody to our continuing series of discussions and communications. You know that I've dedicated my chairmanship for the California Republican Party to be engaged with, to be communicating with, and understanding, learning everything with the majority of California voters. I know that the majority of California voters believe in our principles. I know this because they vote for our initiatives consistently. But unfortunately, the party in years past hasn't had or worked hard enough to include everybody in it and have these broader discussions. So the purpose of today is just one more step along the road. We're going to have 2 more town halls later today, one with the Latino community, one with young voters. We want people to hear from Republicans directly, and we have some just great people in this room. One of my favorites is, I'm giving him a bad time, 23-year-old youngest mayor in California. Let's give it up for Jeremy. When I was 23, I was just loading up on student debt, right? Student loan debt. So I'm just so proud of the people that are in this room. This is a great format. We're going to have a great discussion today. I want to thank you all for participating.
Thank you, Tom. I'm going to introduce you just briefly because my introduction gets longer, then it's going to be tough because we're going to eat up so much time. You know, Ed Royce, Congressman Ed Royce has been always Asian American leaders because we don't have any Republican congressman, Asian American congressman in Congress. So he's representing us, and he's been I'm so grateful. Every meeting we go, he's been always there trying to help Asian Americans. So Ed, 2 minutes.
Thank you, Michelle. I've been working with Mayor Ling Chang of Diamond Bar, and she's with us today, and Jeremy, nice to see you, and so many here on issues that are very, very important to the Asian American community. And one of those issues is educational reform. And if you think about it, the #1 issue for, I think, Asian families is what can we do to make sure we have higher standards, we have the reforms in education we need, and who is it that opposes quotas in higher education? Well, that is the Republicans. We want the most qualified people on merit to be able to get into the UC system. We also want to encourage entrepreneurial growth and new jobs. And Asian businesses know about the policies that the Democratic left have imposed on small business in this state. So we are working with leaders in the community. We have 45 mayors and councilmen that are here at the convention that have been involved in this issue. Asian American leaders who are Republicans, and we want to continue to expand that coalition. Thank you, Michelle.
Bob Huff. He's the example of married up because he's married to Mei Mei, and we're going to hear from Mei Mei later, but Bob, you have 2 minutes.
Well, thank you. Yeah, this is working. It's good. Hey, it's a pleasure to be here today, and you know, we're here listening to Voices of Asia. I listen every day because my wife is Chinese, and she's not shy in sharing what I need to do, but that's important. When I got elected to the state senate, an LA Times reporter was interviewing me and said, you know, we did the homework, and you have the most Asian voters, the most immigrant voters in the state of all the Senate districts. Well, they're Asians because that reflects my district. But it did surprise me on the one hand, it didn't surprise me on the other. But as an elected official, whatever job I've done, I've always tried to make sure I find someone to replace me. So I feel it incumbent upon me to help find people to come up behind us. And while I'm married to Chinese, I think the next assembly member that comes from our district is going to be an Asian. You know, it's not going to have to be somebody married to an Asian, and that shows progress in the party. You know, I've helped and strongly support Ling Chang, Diamond Bar Mayor. Jeremy Yamaguchi, who you already talked about, is also in my district. We have a great bench coming up, and they're Republicans, so they understand what Republican values are. But as elected officials, those of us that are here in the party, that are elected officials, reach out among you. My wife will tell you more about how to connect, because she's coached me, you know, and it's, you got to hit people where they're at. But anyway, it's great to be here today, and great to see so much support, and so many that are plugged into the Asian community already that are interested in learning and teaching us.
Thank you. We always think that California Republican Party has a lot of white guy faces, but we have a little different, very strong lady who is the leader of Republican Assembly, Connie Conway.
Thank you, Michelle, and everybody. I always tell my grandkids I'm just a stubborn old Irish grandma trying to do the right thing. I am very happy and honored to be here today with everybody. It was fantastic in Los Angeles to meet folks and to start the process, and I am here to listen and learn. I think that's how we do better. We always do better when we share and when we listen and when we learn. So very open to discussion. I'm very proud in the Assembly races this year that we have some Asian Americans that will be running for those seats and be successful. Peter's nodding his head. And it'll be fantastic. So I thank you for the opportunity and look forward to learning a little bit more and listening today. Thank you all.
Today we want to listen from Asian Americans, so we're going to give you a special time for 1 minute. So come on out.
Well, good morning, everyone. And since I cover the same district Bob does, I'll ditto his remarks. I work for Connie, so I'll ditto her remarks. And as election chair, we're looking forward to making this party much more diverse, and we're working very hard at that. And so I'll pass it on back to Michelle. Listen to you.
Okay, we're gonna start. You know, we have amazing people, Asian Americans here that we really never recognized, but these people are just amazing. Like Jeremy was elected when he was 19 as a city council member. So we're gonna start from here. So let's hear. You guys have 2 to 3 minutes. I'm gonna give you 1 more minute to speak, but we wanna hear, actually, Tom wants to hear. When Tom's gone, we have other people that they're gonna hear, so go ahead.
Thank you again for all of your efforts to put this together. It's a great opportunity. And I want to thank Tom for everything he's been doing. He's going up and down the state, spending a lot of his time making sure that we have public forums just like this for young people, for Asian Americans, for Latino Americans. And there's a forum now for this voice to be heard. Thank you so much. But I'm very, very excited to be young and getting involved with the party.
I'd be excited to be young again, too.
The gray hair is coming in, but as long as I have her, I'm very thankful. But being so recently brought into the party and this mission and our cause, it warms my heart because I'm able to go out and talk to other young people because they're so interested in the story. And I think it's important that we have all these efforts moving forward to make our party stronger, but we really need to focus on making sure we have the people that come behind us, like Bob mentioned. Whether it's for the Senate position or whether it's for Assembly position, Congress, Congressional position, but also the City Council level. Even though City Councils aren't necessarily partisan seats, there are a lot of partisan issues there. We have big government at the local level. We have restrictions of land use, restrictions of private property use, and big government taxation and whatnot. So even City Council level, we see that. And it's important to have conservatives elected. If we get conservatives elected at the local level, those people move up to our assembly. They move up to be congressional. They move up to be president. So I think it's important that we get youth, we recruit people for local positions, we educate, we motivate and empower the young people in the next generation. So if the party can continue to do that, and continue to put programs together and provide that major resource for the young people to get them involved, get them motivated, and get them empowered to take on this next generation, to carry the torch of freedom, to carry the flag of conservatism into the future.
I didn't know you started at 19. I thought you was like you waited till you were really old, like 20. So what? Tell me the story of how did you decide at 19 that you're going to be a city councilor?
I volunteered in the political realm as well as the city level with just local events, commissions and committee members throughout the neighborhoods. But it was really an issue-based situation. There was a lack of conservative fiscal management with our city. The city was almost to the brink of bankruptcy. There had been some mismanagement. We had actually former city employees criminally prosecuted because of the actions in City Hall. And it was those issues that really motivated me to step up to the plate and make the sacrifice to serve my community on the city council. And 3 years later, I'm honored to serve as mayor and lead the council this year.
Jeremy will be
Thank you so much again.
Thanks, Jeremy. Before we move on to another one, let me introduce one person who's been helping us for the media side, Susie Wang. Just wave your hand. Thank you. Next person that we are going to have, Asian American Congressman And he is the amazing guy when he's 20s, and then when he called it, he wants to have endorsements. And we didn't want to hear much about it because they didn't have much experiences. But this guy who raised, within how many months? $800,000, now over $1 million. Ricky Gill from San Francisco area, actually in Northern California, San Joaquin County, sorry about that. That he is running Congress, he has a chance to win, and we're all gonna support him. Come on, Vicky, come on.
Thanks so much for having me. Can someone hear me? You guys hear me? Well, just want to thank you so much for having me. What I'll say is when Sean Steele makes an invitation, it's more of a demand than a request. Really happy to be here. And the quota I will respect, according to Ed Royce, is the time quota, so I'll keep it very brief. We're running a targeted congressional race in San Joaquin County. This is a race in San Joaquin Valley in Stockton, Lodi. Just taking a page out of Jeremy's playbook, I'll tell you what prompted this campaign. In the congressional district where I'm running, the sense of self-determination has really been lost. People are hurting. There's a huge amount of economic hardship, but there's not a single state or federal legislator, no one in Sacramento, no one in Washington who lives in that district. So it's a very underrepresented lot of people, and that's what motivated this campaign. I'll just tell you, in terms of the Asian American community, this is a story I can identify with. My mother and father are born in India and kind of played hopscotch around the globe to get here, but it's an aspirational journey I think a lot of people can identify with. And on the substance, we have to forge these coalitions. So when it comes to budget reform, I'm a big advocate for a balanced budget amendment. You talk to a lot of Asian Americans, I see it on the campaign trail, they're bemused by the fact that we don't have that firm requirement. That should be the default rule. You talk to Asian American entrepreneurs, which I've done, in the Filipino community, the Indian community. These folks are wondering why crushing regulation is an accepted way of life. We can be the party to lead on that issue. In terms of education reform, I have fought this fight before. I served in spite of my youth, I served on the State Board of Education. And the one thing that became painfully obvious to me 7 years ago was that the one interest group that didn't have a defined seat at the table was really the students. Everyone else has an organized lobby. In fact, I had this very conversation with Jeb Bush, who campaigned for me last month, and it is a mystery to us how that lobby was so neglected. But students can be the focus of our education reform efforts, and we can take that issue and make it a signature issue of ours. So there is a way forward. But it starts with us not capitulating certain demographic groups. One thing Governor Bush and I agree on is we can run with the demographic tide, not against it. But the onus is on us to do that. We're doing that in this campaign. We should really leave no group behind. And I'm thrilled to be here, and we're happy to take your questions too.
Ricky, how old are you?
Turning 25, which is a euphemism for
Michelle, the next person at least be half my age. A wonderful story. It's all about hard work and making it happen. Because Ricky, right out of the gate, running for office is as much about ideas as having a plan and then executing on the plan. And he's been working hard. So thank you very much for coming along. Does anybody have any questions of Ricky, or how are we doing? All right, we'll turn it back to Michelle.
Thank you very much. Yeah, you know what? We are. These are rising stars, and these are future of California Republican Party. Next, Peter Tateishi. He is Chief of Staff for Congressman Dan Lundgren, and he knows, and he's running for Assembly District 8, but he already knows that what he has to do because from the experiences. So Peter, come on. Yeah.
Tom, I'm pretty sure I'm not 23, not 24, but 31. So, thank you very much for having me. Thank you, Michelle, for hosting this event. This is fantastic. As an Asian American, I've lived my entire life being raised with the idea that personal responsibility, if you work hard, you're going to succeed in life, and that in America, the field is level. Everyone who takes on those opportunities, or takes those challenges and works hard, can succeed. And so at a very early age, I learned that it was on me to make sure that I could succeed. Unfortunately, I've seen in the state of California, we don't always say it's a level playing field. Working at the federal level, I've been able to experience what the government can do to hinder that field. I've seen the challenges that business face. I've seen the challenges that our constituents in Eastern Sacramento County face on a daily basis with different regulations, with different laws that are passed, whether it's a healthcare law, whether it's regulation from the EPA that comes down with our policies. So I understand what our constituents, what our businesses, what our people are facing when government tries to intervene. In some ways, they always say they're here to help, but from my experience, I don't think government does the best job of helping. And so I'm here to run. I know this is a seat that we can pick up. This is one of our seats in the Assembly that I'm committed to running in, and I know we will win this seat. But at the end of the day, connecting with the Asian American community has been important in my district. I have a number of Asian Americans, but the thing that when I've been talking to them, they have not always had the opportunities that they don't feel the Republican Party has reached out to them. And it's more in the sense that they, and my community, stays within our community quite a bit. And so we need people to come in and to talk to us, and we need examples like these people here to show us that we have to be involved. And too often we don't think that we can actually be a voice if we organize, if we work together. And so to have that opportunity, to have the party reach out to us is going to be huge in helping us in California and reminding, because in my community, it's all about hard work. That if you work in school and you get good grades and you take on those responsibilities, you're going to be able to succeed here in America. And so that's really our mantra as Republicans, that you work hard, you can succeed. So I think we have that opportunity. I think we need to continue to reach out to Asian American communities that way and let them know that we stand behind them. At the end of the day, we do. We stand behind them a lot more than Democrats do. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
One more person to set up this one. My Chief of Staff, Joel Angeles, standing right there. He used to work for California State, Senator Tony Strickland, and he was Chief of Staff for Audra Strickland. I am very, very lucky to have him. Joel, thank you very much for standing. Next one is Nathan Matthew, Administrative Vice Chair for CCR, and when he was a chair for college Republicans in San Jose State University, we really need these leaders from CR. My daughter was CR chair from California, so you know how important these kids are, that they are volunteering for CR conventions. They're always there, and they are the future leaders. And thank you, Nathan.
So my name's closer. This good. So my name's Nathan. I'm a college Republican, and I am really excited to be a Republican in California. It's just like what Tom said. Like Republican initiatives in California have been successful. And as a college student, as a college Republican, what I've been doing for the past few years is just talking to college students about becoming Republican. And the way we took it to the next level, because initially we found that we can get like a few people and talking to them directly, but then we found when we share our ideas with other college Republicans around the state, we were able to recruit more people because we had more ideas. That's why I'm so excited about this event, where we're being able to share ideas about how to talk to Asian Americans about being Republican in California. So I think the outlook for California is looking very bright. I think CRP and like our fearless leaders, Sean, Michelle, Tom, and everyone else here, like I think all of us putting our ideas together, I think we're going to talk to more Asian Americans than ever before, and I think we're going to get more Asian Americans elected, and I think we're going to get more Republicans elected. I think California has a really bright future, and I am pumped to be a Republican in California.
Here, so I am,
Nathan was central to me getting elected as a college Republican, big volunteer. He's got so much energy. It's wonderful to see him here.
It's great. Thank you. Thank you. Next one is Alan Ishida, Tulare County Supervisor. Guess what? His family's been in Tulare County since 1909.
Wow. Thank you. It's kind of an advantage to have when your family's been in a community for over 100 years, especially in an agrarian society that we have in Tulare County. But I look in the room and I look at the people sitting around me, and they're not baby boomers like me. I have shoes that I wear that are older than most of these people. and the difference is the fact that my folks in the baby boomers generation grew up during the Depression. And all of us baby boomers were motivated to become financially secure, and that did not include being a political figure. So I entered the politics late in my life, and I'm leaving after this term at the age of 68. And there were a couple things that were very important to me is that was brought up is you have to mentor. It's our responsibilities as electeds to mentor younger people to take our jobs, and we have qualified people that will step into our positions. The one part that I think the Republican Party needs to concentrate on is the Southeast Asians. The Southeast Asians are very politically motivated. They are getting into city government. They are running for office a lot faster than any of the other Asian groups that have come to the United States. So I would really look at that, and I would look at the state Republican Party financially helping Asian candidates that are running for city offices and county offices. Connie Conway and I served together on the Board of Supervisors. So even if you're from a small county, you can rise to the top of this party in the state of California. And I hope a lot of you that are sitting here will run for the Assembly, the Senate, and for Congress someday. So good luck, and it's a very rewarding career, even though you get shot full of arrows all the time. You have to have a certain personality, but you guys all have it, so thank you.
All the boys, but we have amazing ladies here, so we're gonna hear from them. And actually, Tom's gonna run out because he has meeting, but we have Adam that who is the chair for Los Angeles County Central Committee, and he's gonna hear and he's gonna report to Tom, right? Actually, he is the boss of Tom, so that's gonna be okay. We have Lin-Ling Chang. I just love her dearly, and she's been amazing. She's another young gun, we call, and she, you know, I never thought that she's gonna run for supervisor because she was dating Andrew Wong, and they were actually mayor, city council member. She and Andrew got elected from different districts, so they couldn't get married for 7 years. And finally, she ran for city council for Diamond Bar. Now they are married. So Lin-Ling,
thank you so much. I really want to thank Tom on behalf of Lee, as well as Michelle and Sean and Congressman Ed Royce, who will be representing Diamond Bar in the near future, as well as my mentor, Senator Bob Huff, you know, Connie and Kurt Hagman, and everybody else here who's been incredibly supportive of me. And, you know, I know that everyone else has addressed this issue of why we're Republicans and why we should all be Republicans, but I really want to touch on the perceptions, right? And we're here as a group of Asian Americans, and I have to say that getting into politics, I never ever imagined that I would ever get into politics. I used to think, you know, all politicians are sleazy, slimy. However, you know, I had the opportunity to meet wonderful people. I was at first courted by the Democrats, you know, when I used to run the Health and Human Services Agency, and then realized, hey, you know, why shouldn't I get involved in the city of Diamond Bar? And so I started looking at both of the parties, and when I focused on the issues, I realized, you know what, this is what truly speaks to me, and this is what truly speaks to Asian Americans. You know, we're talking about a party of inclusiveness, a party of equality, and people don't really realize that, because when you think about this, you know, we're the ones who abolished slavery way back when. And so when they're always talking about how Republicans are not about, you know, inclusiveness and about equality, I say, hey, you know what, I'm just look at history, I am the perfect example. I'm here to squash all of those false perceptions about the Republican Party. And now that we have the younger generation coming up, which I am supportive of, I'm clearly the old lady in the house because, you know, but I have to say that I was first elected to the water board when I was 26, and I was the first woman on the water board in 50 years. And also, we started up a group called Young Mayors in our area, and we're all Republicans actually. So it's Jeremy Yamaguchi, it's Tim Shaw from La Habra, myself, as well as Stephen Lee from Rosemead, and so we're hoping to form a coalition of the younger generation, kind of spreading the message of what Republicans believe in, and hopefully encouraging the younger generation to get involved with this party, you know, because again, we're a party of inclusiveness, we're a party of opportunities, you know, we're a party of just education reform, everything that America stands for. So again, I want to thank everyone here in this room. I want to thank all of my mentors as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Wendy. This person I said, Senator Bob Huff was married up. You know, you have to hear from Mei Mei because Mei Mei is not elected, but she's working behind of all these candidates. And whenever you ask her to raise money and support, she always asks you how much you need. That's the way she starts. So Mei Mei, come on up, and she is a great businesswoman and great leader of Asian American community.
Thank you, Michelle. Good morning. Thank you. Like Michelle said, I am not the elected official, so I'm going to speaking from a different perspective. When you run for office, what are you looking for? Money and what? Votes. Right, so you need to know your audience, and you need to know that even though we may all look alike, but we come from different cultures. So we respect each and every one, but know this, one size does not fit all. So when we tailor our outreach programs, we need to know our audience. Like when I speak to the first generation, or when I speak to people like Ling Ling or Jeremy, my approach will be different. So that is how we do it. Two is we need to localize our strategies. So what does that mean? It may mean that in-language outreach programs, or it may mean something else, like for my husband, Senator Bob Huff. When he first ran, I say, you know, when we do our fundraising events, I say, try not to speak very long, because, you know, they speak louder than you. So, and they won't pay attention to you most of the time. So I taught him to sing some Chinese songs. He may not be able to speak Chinese or Cantonese or Taiwanese very well, but I guarantee you that he can sing those songs better than I can. So whenever he gets up on the stage, you know, he just brings the whole house down. So, you know, so he can make an instant connection to the audience. If you don't believe me, ask Michelle as well. When she first ran for Board of Equalization, I did a fundraising event for her at Pacific Palms, where I work. So I taught her to sing a Chinese song. And, but to give us support, you know, myself, Senator Huff, and also Young Kim, we were all up there singing with her. Because, you know, like I say, she's Korean, I'm Chinese. Even though we are all Asians, it is very difficult to cross that racial barrier, even though we're Asians. So my audience was Chinese. She is a Korean. I'm trying to raise money for her. So what did I have to do? I had to teach her how to sing a Chinese song as well. Oh, and I made her a Chinese dress. That's right. So we localize our strategies. And the third most important thing is you need to find people who can implement your strategy, your action plans for you. A lot of times I see our party reach out to, you know, big names in the community. They can do certain things for the candidate, but you know, the secret is that you need to find people in the community who are the worker bees, who can implement your plans for you, who are responsible. So those are the key elements that the party should look for. Thank you.
So two strong leaders, more to come. Next one is Virginia Crowley. She was the top vote getters at Menlo Park Fire Protection District, and let's hear from her.
Thank you, Michelle, and Tom, for putting this together. It's great actually to be in a room with a bunch of Asian Republicans, because in my area you really don't see that. I'm from the Bay Area, Silicon Valley, and as Michelle said, I was the top vote getter in a race that quite frankly was pretty contested with 5 people running. We serve over 90,000 residents in the Mid-Peninsula area, with the highest income city in probably California and the lowest income city in California. So it's a very, very diverse group. But as the second woman on this fire district board in the 96-year history of the fire district, I can assure you I was not elected because I knew the fire rescue, fire suppression operations. The reason I was elected, I believe, is that I have been an advocate for financial sustainability of public agencies and our public services. In 2010, the City of Menlo Park passed a pension reform initiative, which was inspired by the San Mateo County Civil Grand Jury report. And with that issue, all of our special districts, including school district and our fire district, of course, was under scrutiny. So that was probably the main issue that got me elected because of my financial background. But the interesting thing is that the issue gelled a lot of portions of the community. So I was able to get a lot of endorsements from prominent Democrats in our area, such as Steve Wesley, who is an Atherton resident, and other supervisors who are Democrats as well, because of this issue. So what I hope to see with our party is that we campaign on those issues. I mean, it is true that education and hard work are Asian values, but so is discipline, and that includes financial discipline. And where we are now is, you know, we have to start thinking, what kind of future are we leaving for our children? And really, that's the reason I got involved in politics, was my children and their generation. So I hope as we move forward as a party that we look at that issue. That's an issue we can win on, financial sustainability. Thank you so much, Michelle.
We have one more lady here. These are very, very much strong leaders in Asian American community. Next one is Van T. Lee, board member, East Side Union High School District.
Well, good morning, everyone. Actually, my name is V-A-N-L-E, but it's pronounced Van Lê. It's a Vietnamese American. Well, I'm very honored to be here today. I actually thank you for the invitation from Sean and Michelle. I have to change my personal events so I can come here today. I'm changing a whole flight. Supposed to be somewhere out of town, but it's worth it. I have to say that it's worth it, and just be here. To me, that I'm not a political official, but I know a lot of people look at me as a political official. It's kind of irony because I'm just a community activist in my community in San Jose. I know that here I saw that Council Member Pete Constance and Mayor Jose Estevez and New Peters are those few community leader and political official in the area of Northern California. I have to say that as a Vietnamese American political official in San Jose is very tough because first is Vietnamese Americans already, we are a lot of Vietnamese Americans are Republican, but we never really involved in the Republican Party. So every time that we vote, we also vote for the Republican Party, a Republican political official, but really we never have the resource to really support for the Vietnamese American community to be involved in. And the reason that triggered me to run for an office as an elected official, because one of the Vietnamese American Democrat got elected and went against the will of the citizen, the constituent. And I was asked by a lot of people to, why do you want to run? You know, because you are a good person. I would never think that I'd become a political official. But I think that this is an opportunity for me to raise our voice, to be in the Republican Party, and really to say that the Republican Party has a lot of good value as family value, and also is for tax purpose, that we don't want to waste a lot of taxpayer money. But I think this something that I run because I have a passion to give it back to this community, to give it back to this country. When I left Vietnam in 1975 in the fall of Saigon, it's really tough, it's really hard. We came here with no English, you know, and no money, but we come here, we start all over, and we really evaluate the freedom and the value of the family. And I have to say that to run for Eastside School Board is very tough because I'm only Republican candidate among all of this Democrat. But I won because I've been involved in the community so much, so long, and people recognize my voice and my name. The second thing is for a lot of people looking up that they don't think that I probably win, but they were surprised when I won, and I had a margin, a good margin among the other Democrats. And even though that I don't have any support from the union, from any other area, but I think the main thing is people see who I am, the passion that I want to bring into this community and to this country, and I'm looking forward to learn from each other, learn from the other political officials, you know, to really support other. I'm not young political official anymore. I'm much older than all of you. Just have more opportunity for other candidates to run as a Republican political official and candidate, and support them, and has more resources. So, and reach out to support them. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much. State Senator Sam Blakeslee just walked in. We're going to give you only 1 minute because we have to listen to from Asian American leaders. So you come up, just 1 minute, please.
Well, it's a real privilege and a treat to be here with all of you. I represent the Central Coast, which is a Senate district that runs from Santa Barbara County through San Luis Obispo, Monterey, Santa Cruz, and up through Santa Clara. It's about 240 miles long. It's a very diverse portion of the state, especially as we move up into Santa Clara County. And what I continually find is that there's this real hunger for jobs, for economic prosperity, for an educational system that works, for families that are able to get their kids all the way through college and realize and fulfill the dreams that their parents have handed on to them. And I think that's really what the Republican Party is fighting for. It's for economic prosperity, it's for success, it's for creating a better future for our kids, and being able to make sure our educational system is serving the real needs of the students and not the employees within the system. And there's a big difference between an educational system that's focused on the kids versus the employees. And it's that kind of success for the next generation that I believe the Republican Party is all about. Thank you so much, Michelle.
We've had so many mayors, and actually, you know, I want to mention just one thing. These Asian American leaders are not just elected people, but they are successful business people too. So let's recognize them. But next, we're gonna go for Mayor Jose Estevos. Oh, he's not it. Okay, there. Oh, okay, Jose, welcome. Jose, actually, Filipino Americans, we have over 1.4 million people in California, and he is amazing that he's a successful business person and he's a mayor. Welcome.
City of the leaders, I'm very courage inspired to be here. I've been a Republican since I became a citizen 30 years ago, and as city council in 1998, one term, and then I'm serving now my 4th term as mayor of the city of Milpitas. Well, how am I winning? Well, very simple. I stand for true Republican values, which is family values, jobs, true service to community, and support for quality education. So whenever my opponent, which are Democrat, and Milpitas is mostly Democrat, they always say, why do you vote for him? He is a Republican. And the result is I'm getting more votes whenever they say that. So what I'm saying is, let's be proud and honored to be Republicans because we truly serve our country, we truly serve our people, we truly serve our family. So I keep being proud and open for being Republican. Milpitas is a very Asian community, more than 60% Asian. But I agree with her that you have to be sensitive for each community. So at least appreciate the culture. So I always say when I'm in Vietnamese community, I say, Xin chào quý vị. And in Chinese, I say, Ta chào hao. In Filipino, I say, Maligayang bati po sa inyong lahat. And of course, in Korean, you say, Kamsahamnida. Hamnida. Okay. So, this is a dealing with people and understanding their needs. And be there not for yourself, but for true service. So again, be proud to be Republican and be to serve our community and our country. Thank you.
Next one is Gary Yip, Mayor of Kerman. Interesting thing is all these Asian American leaders, actually they were born in that city that they got elected and they were raised there. So they are so familiar with their own city. That's why they can represent much better than any other elected officials. Welcome, Gary.
Thank you. I would like to thank the California Republican Party, Michelle, and your husband, Sean, for inviting me here. Thing you learn as you get older is to talk slower because people can't really understand. When you get nervous, it's better to say that. So, as a business person and a Republican, I have one thing to say. If I happen to say something funny, I expect a royalty of 6% if it ends up on a T-shirt. So, if it ends up in the Tampa convention on a T-shirt I'm talking about, I'll do a 6% royalty. To give you a little bit about myself, I went to law school here at the University of San Francisco. I have an AS in real estate, an MBA in international finance, a law degree. So I've studied for the bar when you were born. So just to give you an idea of the whole process. I come from a small farming community of about 15,000 people. We have about 14 to 16% unemployment, and the average income is probably about $15,000. The Hispanic population is about 68%. The surrounding communities have about 40% unemployment. So we have a 40% reserve in our account. So our community is very good and solid. There's 12% Punjabi community, 68% Hispanic, and there's 8 Chinese people in town. So I got 100% of the Chinese folk. We haven't had to lay off anybody. We have no furloughs, but as contracts expired, we just hired somebody at Step A instead of keeping them on at Step G. So when I first was elected, everybody thought I was going to be Chainsaw Gary and fire everybody. But a year and a half later, we've just added new positions and new people, brought on fresh faces, because at some point you want to manage the ship, or at some point you just want to fire the captain. So our situation was different. My dad came over in 1947 with my mom. We opened the grocery store in 1955, the size of a Safeway. And so I have the benefit of not having that SEIU back me, but at the same time, I really don't want the Walmart money. So I'm kind of in between. I have no backing, but I decided today I will run for re-election. It was a 2-year commitment. And my wife was not happy because I told her I was going to run for city council. I come back out and I looked at all the 7 people that were running for the first time ever. And I realized I can't beat these guys because they are in the community, 28-year council member, the principal of the school district is now the superintendent, the local pharmacist, the guy that owns the Subway that's in charge of the soccer committee, or the team. So the votes weren't there, so I decided I would run for mayor. And the scariest moment I ever had was that first city council meeting where I'm sitting there going, I have no idea what I'm talking about. And so that's my experience, and I want to thank you because I've been to 2 Super Bowls and 2 World Series for the San Francisco Giants, and this is the biggest honor that I have is having you guys invited here today. And hopefully I get an invite to Tampa, but I don't make $300 a month, so if anybody wants to sponsor
Okay, next, Vice Mayor of Redwood City, Jeffrey G. He is actually a very successful business person, but at the same time, he owns architect license, right? Good.
Michelle, thank you, and Sean, thank you for having me. Tom, thanks for listening. On behalf of San Mateo County, Redwood City is about 10 minutes south and the county seat. I'd like to welcome all of you to San Mateo County, and have a great weekend. At the local level, our responsibilities are pretty basic. People do ask, are you a Republican or a Democrat? I tell them I'm a Republican, but I also like to be known as a Pete. Because at the end of the day, we have to bring solutions to the table. No disrespect to anyone, we can't print money at the local level, we can't take on debt. We have to make sure the water gets turned on when we turn on the faucet, the police come when they get called. And so we need to be solution oriented. We have to bring solutions to the table because our constituency finds us at the supermarket, at the schools, and things like that. The best thing that the party can do to help us, in San Mateo County there are 20 cities, there's a little over 100 elected council members, 10 of us are Asian Americans, and I can count on one hand how many of those Asian Americans are Republicans. The best thing that the party can do for us is to help network, mentor, coach, help us connect with each other as a community. I was elected in 2009, I walked precincts. And that can be really lonely because there are places still in our community that say, Jeff, we don't belong. That was told to me straight up to my face. You don't belong here. And I live here in the Bay Area. I was born in San Francisco. So having that network, having those mentors, having those coaches are very helpful. The other opportunity is then to get the Asian Americans, number one, to register, and number two, to vote. Because we need to reach out to the community and say your vote and your voice can make a difference. Because they don't always feel welcome. Networking, mentorship, registering to vote, and getting them to vote, getting us to vote, can make a huge difference in the future of our success together. So thank you for being here, and thank you for inviting me.
Just for a minute, because I think we're going to have a special guest in 1 minute, but I got to say, Jeffrey, thank you very much. The party is committed to providing what we call a candidate toolbox, which is designed to help the young candidates, even the younger at heart candidates, so that when you first get involved, you'll have some of these things. So I appreciate and thank you for your welcome. We're having a great time. So,
okay, next one is Peter Otaki. He's a vice mayor of Menlo Park.
Good morning, everyone. I'm very pleased to be here. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Tom. Very much appreciated. This is my second forum, and I'm very pleased to be here. I wanted to point out 3 statistics that I thought might be helpful. In the Bay Area, there are, of the 13 new assembly districts under redistricting, those districts have on average 24% Asian voter proportion. The second statistic was the survey done a couple of years ago of Asian American Californians, which said that over 51% consider themselves nonpartisan or independent, which means there's opportunity for us to get our message to them. The third statistic is that that survey also said that 67% consider themselves likely to vote, which means they go to the polls. So if you look at all that math, you can't ignore the Asian voters in the Bay Area or across the state. I certainly would echo everything that's been said. I got elected on the basis of bringing fiscal responsibility. My city had been running budget deficits for 3 years. Since being on our city council, we've balanced our budget for the last 2 years. I'm very proud to have helped in that process. Secondly, I think a key aspect is also around encouraging entrepreneurship, the economic vibrancy. That was another issue that at the local level was part of my campaign. But I think if you look at it also, I'll just leave you with this thought. Menlo Park is at the north end of Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley is all about smaller, faster, and better. Why can't our government be the same?
You know, Peter's a good testament of hard work as well, and maybe in the years to come you can help me mentor some of these kids into becoming governor of California. You help me do that?
Don't forget, he's very young too. I'm gonna introduce Steve Cho, who was a city council member from ex-city council member from Fremont, right? Yeah. I've been knowing him for a long time. He was a great volunteer for California Republican Party for years, and it's not that you know he's old. I am saying he's a long-time friend. Steve, welcome.
She had it right the first time. I feel like the grandfather up here. However, thank you for the invitation to be here today to be part of this summit. You know, I can remember back in the mid-90s when I first got involved with the Republican Party, and that's not to say that I have not been a Republican all my life. I have been, but I've been actively involved with the party because I got elected to the Central Committee back in the mid-90s. But then I got involved in city politics. That's directly contrary to what my upbringing was, because my parents came from China. I was born and raised in Los Angeles, and I would have to say that I thought you were showcasing New Southern Cal before I heard from all the Northern Cal. But I just want to say that I got involved because of the perceived need of Asians not being represented. All through my childhood and growing up, I was taught to be keep a low profile, don't participate, don't get involved, because that's not the way my parents were brought up. They came as immigrants on paper, and they said the lower profile you keep, the better off you'll be. Well, that was okay until all through the years, I kept hearing from the community, and I moved up to Fremont from Southern Cal 40 years ago. And the common theme across the entire community was, don't worry about Asians. They don't vote, they don't get involved, they don't cause any fuss. And so you can just ignore whatever they want. And that prompted me to get, that kind of irritated me to hear those kind of comments. And from Fremont, that when I moved there, it was 100,000 people. Today, with 3% Asian at the time. Today, it's over 210,000, over 50% Asian. So the demographics has changed quite a bit, and we're having, I guess, I would call California the black sheep, but because we always seem to be on the opposite end of the trend of the nation. But it's even worse in the Bay Area because the Democrats control just about everything. And in the county I belong to, the registration is 2 to 1. And no matter what you try to do, you always look down and say, you don't know what you're talking about, or that's not the wishes of the people. But, you know, surprisingly, if you were to compare your values just on a sheet of questionnaire, put it down on plain black and white, and you have people that answer the questions, forgetting about what party you belong to, invariably the answers I get always agree with the Republican values. And so we need to educate the public just based on the values. Forget about partisanship, just on the values, and when they see the values, they're going to say, hey, this is what I want to be. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Steve was talking about the Asian American community.
Are you considering another run for office? Yes, I am. Tell us about it. Come on.
Well, thank you, Sean. I had served on the Fremont City Council for 8 years, and I became a victim of my own vote. I voted for term limits. Well, there are good and bad between each side of that, but as a result, I was turned out, and I was forced to, back in 2008, I ran for mayor at that point, but as people say, it's always hard to challenge in the country. That's what I did. There was a third opponent in that race who was a former mayor. So there were three: the current mayor, myself, and the former mayor. I came in close seconds. So this year, in November of this year, the seat is open. And this is something that I haven't announced yet. Because, but I will officially announce in my kickoff campaign next Saturday that I'm going to be a candidate for mayor of Fremont.
Okay, you can't tell anybody you said that, right?
Thank you very much. Congratulations. Make sure that we're going to help him to win. Funny thing is, the Asian American community, Steve just told us that, we never really participate, we never vote, we never complain. In Los Angeles, city of Los Angeles right now, they are doing redistricting, and they try to get Koreatown as much as they can because they think that Koreatown is their ATM machine. So now that we wanted to have just one district under one city council members, they divided it 4 again, same as 10 years before. So that's exactly what's happening. That's why we need more Asian Americans than ever, that they get elected and they participate in all these political events. Next one is we're going to move to school board. We have a Kunio Okui, board member, Castro Valley Unified School District. Kunio?
This is an interesting forum. I wanted to thank you for sponsoring it, the town hall, Michelle. I've been, believe it or not, probably none of you have seen me before, but I've been on the school board in Castro Valley for 20 years. And so I'll be completing my 21st year this year, and I told the superintendent that because of some of the indecisiveness of my colleagues, that I would run for re-election in November to make sure that he has a majority of 3 supporting him. In school district politics, if you don't have 3 votes as a superintendent, you lose your job. And we have an unusual situation in Castro Valley. It's a roughly 60,000 residents, the largest unincorporated area in California, Northern California. And there's about 15% Asian population in Castro Valley, but the schools have about a 30% Asian population, largely Chinese Americans or Chinese immigrants also. And like I'm a little bit younger than Alan, and I think Alan stated that he was a baby boomer. Is that what you said? Well, we're pre-baby boomers because he told me his age. And so you were probably, what I believe on. So you were probably born in Canada? 64. Are 64? Oh, you're 64. Oh, so you are a baby boomer. I thought you said you're 67.
So that's when I came out.
Oh, 60. Okay, I can't even. I'm a CPA and I work with numbers and I preach and I can't even understand what he's talking about. So he is a baby boomer. I'm a pre-baby boomer. I was born in Manzanar in one of those relocation camps. I was raised in San Fernando in the Barrios, so I know all of the cuss words in Spanish. But in any event, what I wanted to do was make some notes since I found out I might be speaking. And so I wanted to tell you that when I first I'm very apolitical, and I'm a Republican, but you don't see me anywhere, and I haven't seen any of you anywhere. And so what had happened was...
You're here now.
Yeah, I'm here now. And I had, what had happened was I had been encouraged to seek a seat as an appointee, you know, because I felt I didn't want to get involved in politics, and if I got involved in politics, I only wanted to get involved as an incumbent, and the only way to do that is to get appointed. Well, guess what? I wasn't appointed, but that seat came up because the provisional appointment was nullified, and so I ran for that seat, and I came in second. And then I ran again, and I was elected in 1991. But what I wanted to say additionally was that there's a number of things that are going on with politics in Castro Valley. And one of the things that's nice about being on the Castro Valley School Board is that our youngest board member has been on the school board for 16 years. And we have one member that has been on for 19, two of us have been on for 20, and one has been on for 22. And oddly enough, people say, well, why is this school board so senior and so, you know? And I said, well, one of the things about Castro Valley, the bad news about Castro Valley is we're unincorporated, which means we have no local representation. We have a supervisor Castro Valley comprises about 20% of his district. He's one of 5 supervisors in Alameda County, so we get about a 4% representation in our district, okay? I mean, Castro Valley with the county. But that's the bad news. The good news is that we don't have any city council wannabes running for the school board. Because when we went for the school board, you know, I had one of my colleagues ask me, who had worked for Pete Stark and Lockyer and those kind of folks, and he said, Cuneo, you know, people are saying that I'm just using this as a stepping stone. What can I do to prove them wrong?
I think there's going to be an open seat. We're down there where he is pretty soon.
You could run for a second term. And he did. He's been on the board now for 19 years. So what I wanted to say, and probably taking more time than I should, but as far as a local school board member, Castro Valley has about 9,000 students, 9 elementary schools, 2 middle schools, a high school, adult school, 3 kindergarten. For those of you board members, our APR scores we're just across the bay, so we're very close. All of our scores are above 800 API. We have I think we have 4 elementary schools that are above 900. And it's all because of those Chinese in the school district, of which I am not one of them, my children. And I had 3 children that graduated from the district. They all went on to college. One went on to Cal State Hayward, 2 went to UC Davis. They all graduated. They're all married. I have 4 grandchildren. My daughter-in-law is Lee, so there was Lee's lady here. And the best thing about it is that none of them are living at home. Education funding from a local school board member, you know, it's just abysmal in the state of California. And, you know, we're like 48th or 49th in the country. And so my encouragement for the state officials is to, you know, just do the proper funding. So.
Yeah, so do we have more? Or? 2 more. 2 more? Mm-hmm. Okay. I think we have a special guest any second now. So we can sort of hold off for a minute. I want to thank everyone for coming up. The last time we did this, I was so inspired to hear all of these stories, and of course I feel that way again. And any second now? Everybody, let's welcome the Gingriches.
chair for Newt Gingrich campaign because I had breakfast with him a few months ago, and we need somebody who has pet brain for Republican Party. And I thought Newt is just a perfect candidate that if he's going to really looking at the Republican Party's future, not just Republican Party itself, but America. He's the one, actually we already know that proven leader, that he's the one cut down welfare recipients for 60%, make them go to find a job or go to school to getting a job. And then he's the one actually cut capital gain taxes, and he's the one actually balanced budget. That's what, as a Californians, that we want to hear. So he's the proven leader, and I just love him dearly, and his wife too, and I've been having great honor to have chances to have a separate meeting with him all the times. And here in California, I'm so grateful to support him. That's not the reason I brought him. I want him to meet all these Asian American leaders. That's why he came in. And I'm so grateful, next President of the United States of America.
I have to confess, I'm not used to performing in the round. But I want to say that both Liz and I are so grateful to Michelle. She's shown tremendous leadership. She's been organizing meetings across the Asian American community, and we've had terrific meetings. And I came to the California Convention because I want to make the case that we can put California back in play this fall if we're prepared to reach out to every Californian of every background and offer them a better future. And I wanted you to know that my commitment is to actually do everything we can to campaign here. This is a state which has fascinated me candidly since high school. I first began reading about California politics when I was a senior in high school, and I was intrigued with it. It was a lot different, as you can imagine, back then. But it is impossible for the Republican Party to be a governing majority without having a very, very significant role in California. And I think it's impossible to fix Sacramento without a strong Republican Party. And so, I hope all of you get our luncheon a little bit later. I'm going to talk particularly about energy and talk about the President's speech in Miami on Friday, which was a perfect example of a fantasy world, which has no relationship to reality. But I want you to understand that I believe, as the Republican nominee, I would want to run an American campaign. I want to reach out to every person, very simple set of ideas. I think if we go all out for energy independence, to get free of the Middle East, that we can get to $2.50 a gallon gasoline. And in fact, we have a news site on Twitter, which is hashtag 250 gas, which began to move yesterday. And it's pretty straightforward. And this is, by the way, not a fancy number. It was $1.13 when I was Speaker. It was $1.89 when Obama became President. So I'm just trying to get back to a pre-Obama world. Here's my commitment to all of you. I believe a candidate who campaigns in California and says, look, you have two futures. You have $2.50 a gallon or less. You have $9 or $10 a gallon or more. You pick. I think all of a sudden Obama's majority starts to shrink. Second, I favor, and this is where I believe we have an outreach to everybody in the Asian American community. I favor a tax policy and a regulatory policy that maximizes jobs, because I want to be the paycheck president. And Obama has successfully become the food stamp president. So I want to run and appeal to every Californian and say, if you would rather have a paycheck than food stamps, then we want you to be with us. Finally, I think we need strength in foreign policy. And I think it has to be knowledgeable strength. This is one of the places where, frankly, the United States government dramatically underuses the assets we have in the Asian American community and in other communities. I mean, we have a greater ability to have sophisticated understanding of countries than any place else in the world. All we have to do is talk to our own citizens. We have huge talent pools that can help us better understand countries around the world. But I think one of the underlying principles that makes me very different from Obama is I am tired of the United States having a president who apologizes over and over. I want to reach out to everybody in California and say, look, if you believe the world is dangerous and we need to be strong, then I want your help. If you believe that the United States is the problem and we need to appease and apologize, then you ought to be with Obama. Now, I think on those three grounds, energy prices, jobs, and a strong foreign policy, we can suddenly put California back in play. But we can only put California back in play if you help Michelle and if we together are working to make it happen. And we look forward to seeing you later on. I've got to run another meeting, but I'm really grateful to be with you. It's good to see you. Thank you all very much. Thank you very much.
I need to run along as well. Let's everybody, Michelle Steele, let's give her a huge, huge
unexpected visit that, he was very care about the Asian American community when I met him. So I just fell in love with him. That's the only reason that, I supported him, but we never thought that he's going to visit. So I am very grateful that presidential candidates here. We have just 3 more to go, and then we're going to put our group together. Give me all your business cards before you leave, so make sure that we're going to put the network together. So next CRP convention that we're going to get together, but from then on that we're going to be very proactive, so please help me to organize this. And next one is Dr. Long Van, Trustee District number 1 from Orange County.
Well, good morning. First of all, I would like to thank Michelle, Sean, Tom for allowing us the opportunity to meet again this morning. I would like to share with you the reason why I'm running for office. If you recall, some of you may not be old enough to remember that in 1975, when a whole bunch of Vietnamese came to this country, I was a young boy. I was 25 years old, and I didn't speak the language. So on my way to the U.S., I prayed to God, please help me to learn the language sufficiently so that I can get a job like a fixed bicycle tire on the street to make a living for myself. So that was my dream. And this country giving me a lot more than that. And thinking about God, I think God give me a lot of things, give me something that I maybe didn't deserve. Because I was a good boy when I was young, but there was a lot of people who was better than me, but they didn't have what I had. So thinking about that, now I have 4 children, aged from 27 to 37. They all grew up. I have 2 grandchildren. One of my sons served in the U.S. Air Force, and one of my daughters served in the U.S. Navy. I'm thankful to this country that opened their arms to adopt me, allowing me the opportunity to rebuild my life here. So I think when I'm running for office, it's just a small favor, a small return to the big favor that this country give me. I couldn't have what I have right now. It's really an American dream, and I like to see that all of our Asian children, my children, they appreciate the opportunity they have in this country. We used to say that the people who was born in this country, sometimes we feel we take it for granted. And not only that, the first generation, the Asian American, who appreciate that, but I like to see the second generation, the third generation, and the Asian American truly appreciate this country the same way that we support and we appreciate. Also, this year I'm running for the 72nd Assembly District in California, and I'm the only Republican Asian American running for this office here. So I'm looking forward to work with all of you. Hopefully we'll get a support from the party, from the community to win the seat. The 72nd District is the seat for the content of the Little Saigon. people consider that it's the Vietnamese seat. Well, I don't think that any one of us will deserve a seat. But if we have the capacity, if our Asian American, if we deserve, we don't own anything. But if we have the knowledge, if we have the tenacity, if we have the experience to serve, let's bring out a leader from the Asian American community. Thank you very much.
Surprise guest, our time is just about 3 minutes left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce Sam Chung. Yeah, come on out. Just you have 1 minute. Sorry about this, but yeah.
Hi, my name is Sam Chung. I'm Legislative Director for Assemblyman Jeff Gorell. He is currently actually in Afghanistan. He was deployed with the Navy. So he'll be returning in a couple of weeks, and so we look forward to that. I actually wanted to put on my other hat. I am former president of the Asia Pacific Islander Capital Association, which is a group of about 200 legislative staff, lobbyists, and elected officials. And a lot of people ask me why I wanted to run for president of that group. And the reason why is because in 2010, LA Times, they had a big picture of Meg Whitman at a Korean market looking at these delicious giant Korean pears. And so I was looking at that picture and it told me a couple of things. That number one, Asian Americans, they understand taxes, the burden of taxes and the burden of regulations. And so, they couldn't tell the difference, probably a lot of Asian Americans, the difference between Republicans and Democrats, but they understand those issues and what it does to the bottom line and their pursuit of the American dream. And so I wanted to run for president of this group to really reach out to the Asian community and register more Asian voters. I mean, that was the key. And so what we did in Sacramento is we talked to a lot of the local businesses there, Asian supermarkets that had a lot of traffic of Asian customers. And we just set up a table once a month, and just having some Asian faces at the table and these customers seeing them, I mean, they just felt a lot more comfortable. They wanted to learn more about why we were sitting there, and just getting them registered gave them an incentive to pay a little more attention to what's going on. And so that was very encouraging to me, and I'm very proud to be here. I'm Korean American, very proud to be here with Michelle, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Staff John Yoshi.
First, I just wanted to, thank Board Member Michelle Steele and obviously Member Sean Steele for inviting me out here today. My boss actually is Assembly Republican leader Connie Conway. I actually work for her in the policy office in the Assembly Republican Caucus. But as a fourth generation Japanese American, what I found interesting about being a Republican is, we are kind of a family. And I think in my culture, or not my culture, my family, we're very close. We're very close knit. We're not all Republicans, but we're all close knit. And I think in this regard as a party, I think a lot of the speakers have already said this, but I think reaching out to Asian Americans, and just as former Speaker Newt Gingrich said, Americans, period, about ideas, about issues, and about the ideas that we do share, the ideals that we share, the morality that we all share, I think is vitally important to our party. And I think the more we can communicate our ideals and our ideas to Asian Americans, even, I know later on we're going to talk about Latinos and Black Americans, etc. We're all Americans, we all have the same ideals. But I think in this regard, especially with Asians, I mean, I was very shocked as, I know Kunio was up here talking about, I've never seen all of you before. And that's very shocking to me that we do have such a large family of Asian American Republicans. And I think the more we can reach out to them and bring them and show them, look, we're all one and the same. We all share the same ideas. I think the more stronger we'll be as a party, and again, we'll be able to make the gains we want and win. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to make Ricky to close this meeting, but Sam, come on out. Sam and I work together in Korean American community. I am so happy to see all these younger generation Korean Americans are coming out too. So Sam, go ahead.
I appreciate everyone, you guys being here, and I'll be gracious to keep it very short. I'm just very motivated and encouraged right now. We have a great bench of American leaders. I don't look at us as just Asians. We look at each other as Americans. And we love this country. We want to serve this country. Thank you, Michelle. thank you, Sean, and thank you to the party. We look forward to winning California, and I'll see you guys at the top. Thank you.
I think that, and on behalf of Tom, who obviously had to run off, the biggest value that we as a party can get out of this is hearing from all of you and listening to what has made you successful and what we can do to make you more successful. And by the way, the Steeles, without the Steeles, this wouldn't be possible. She has brought you guys to us. You have brought us all together. Now I want you all, when you leave here, to bring us to you. The party is here to help you in any way we can. So it's wonderful that we're finally getting all of you guys together, getting all of our wonderful Asian American leaders here today together. Now, as the vice chair for Los Angeles, I'll be anywhere in Los Angeles or anywhere else, anywhere near Los Angeles, to come to your communities to help us help you guys in any way we can. I know Tom's committed that way, and the rest of the California Republican Party Board of Directors is there for you. Anything we can do, please let us know. Thank you, Sean, and thank you, Michelle, for putting this together.
Let me just recognize one person. Harmon Dillon, San Francisco Central Committee Chair, just stayed.
I think I probably have the hardest job of any Central Committee Chair in the United States. There are more Republicans in this room than are in my county next door. We're very welcome and we're very, very happy to have you guys here. I am a first-generation immigrant. I came here when I was a small child. My father was a doctor. I learned to become a Republican around Riverdale. I was learning about taxes and trial lawyers, and then I became a trial lawyer. So there's all kinds of conflicts in the family. But what I would say is that our community drives this community here in California. The American community does. And so it's really about time that we have a few more people like Ricky and people like Nitin and others like that who are representing our communities here. So with that, I would just say I'm very proud to be part of this organization, and thank you for inviting me to speak for a moment.
Thank you very much. You know what? I heard about Eric Chan. You were sitting in that corner. Come on out. So, you know what? I'll give you just 1 minute.
All right, thank you. Well, my name is Eric Chan. I'm new to the California Republican Party being active. I've always been a Republican. I was raised that way. Now that I have a chance to address you a little bit, I'll tell you real quick. I recently got elected to the Central Committee for the 49th AD 2 years ago, and I'm running again. That's the Southern California area, southeast of Los Angeles. I did want to, I guess, address one thing that Peter said. Something that I've been thinking of for a long time, that I agree with everything he says, that the Asian community is very family values, very work hard, don't mess around, go to school, you know, the Republican values. But what I'm having a problem with is the disconnect between, I know he's right, you all know he's right, but when you actually look at the voter rolls, because I've volunteered for a few campaigns, when I go through my neighborhood, which is a very heavily Asian neighborhood, and I look at all the voter registrations, Chinese names, Vietnamese names, it's all Democrat, Democrat, Democrat. So the question is why? And you know, and I don't mean to be harsh on our party, but I mean that's the reality, and we need to figure out why that is and fix it.
And Eric's helping us change that in Los Angeles, and I just want to.
Thank you very much. We have one more person, George and Meg Andrews. Yeah, I told
My parents are from Kerala. It's a southern state of India. But thank you so much for organizing this. I've been coming to CRP conventions for 9 years, and I've never seen something like this. And you know, it's may have been overdue, but you know what? It's better late than never, and we need to start now. And it's really important that we come together and organize, because I had no idea there are so many Republican Asian elected officials. It just sits in an Excel sheet, but no one else, the community doesn't know, the public doesn't know. So it's really important. So I'm really happy that Chairman Del Picar is organizing this, and we look, on behalf of my boss, Assemblywoman Linda Halderman, and President, look forward to working with the state party on this.
You know what, we're going to give you 30 seconds because we have to close it. But you know, next time, next convention, we're going to try to keep a couple more hours and then so we can talk whatever is that online. So just, I can get 30
Yeah, okay. My name is Mark Revere, Worldwide Filipino Alliance. And I'm 68 years old. My interest in politics just came around because of what's going on in the world today. And the reason why we came here is I would like to see how we people can strengthen this party of Lincoln. I've learned about Lincoln when I was high school. He was the one that brought out the nation to become a unified nation. And I think that in some ways we have lost the task of what the party is all about and how we could do together. A lot of people came here, but I don't see a lot of Asians. There is this issue that you said 10%. There are, I think, 2,500,000 Filipinos in the whole of California. So this is a very important state that we could educate the people, because when I came here, we came as Democrat because we see the African American, we see the more of the diverse Asian immigrant, and I think the Republican Party hadn't reached out to us. Like somebody said one ago, I think that's a gentleman, but it's just okay to just sit down and do nothing.
We're not going to do nothing anymore.
And that's why I want to speak. I want to speak my mind right now.
I'll just close by saying thanks so much for coming out. I'm now a veteran of this forum. It's not that we all are. Sean and Michelle, thanks for really participating as stakeholders in this community. I think it's very important that as Republicans we realize we need to frankly have a bigger tent as a party. We need to build the party's appeal. And no community should be off limits at this point. Okay, so thanks for coming. Appreciate it.